So, bacillary populations are not uniform in their susceptibility to antimicrobacterial agents. So, hindi sila para-parehas ng response. Yun ang sinasabi niyan. That the bacillary populations do not have the same response to different antimicrobacterial agents. So, some of them kasi are susceptible to rifampicin and pyrazinamide, but some of them are resistant to isoniazid and streptomycin. Okay, so this would be your drugs of choice in the treatment of your pulmonary tuberculosis. So we have the streptomycin, the rifampicin, and the isoniazid. Yung tatlong po yan ay what? Silang tatlo ay bactericidal. Ibig sabihin, they kills the bacteria. Okay? So rifampicin, isoniazid, streptomycin is bactericidal. Next, you have the pyrazinamide, the rifampicin again, and isoniazid. So those are effective in killing your intracellular organism. Okay? And last would be your rifampicin. This is best used for organism that grows in spurts rather than continuously. Kasi alam naman natin, yung growth ng Mycobacterium tuberculosis ay times 2 ng times 2. Hindi lahat sila agad maglalabas. Kumbaga paunti-unti. So the best ang rifampicin for that. Also, please take note, kaya siya nilagay na ripes kasi may function yan. Ang unang magkasama, ang unang binibigay, rifampicin, isoniazid. The next would be your pyrazinamide and ethambutol. Kaya siya tinawag na ripes. Okay, tandaan yon, may function kung bakit siya ripe. Hindi lang dahil pneumonic siya, but siya yung ganyang modality or ganyang technique yung pagpapainom ng gamot. Rifampicin combined with your isoniazid, and then pyrazinamide combined with your ethambutol. Okay? So drugs in current use for your pulmonary tuberculosis. So you have your rifampicin, or also known as your rifampicin. So this one, huwag nyo nang intindihin to because this is very detailed yung how they react. Okay? They react because of their polymerase sa bacteria na. So bacterial actions na siya. Okay? So what is important here is that the followings, your rifampicin or your protease inhibitor, therefore, it decreases the clearance of rifamycins. Rifamycins accelerate the clearance of protease inhibitors. So that's the first drug in line. You have the rifampin or rifampicin. So it has many names. It can be rifampin, it can be rifabutin, it can be rifapentin. Okay? So another drug in line for the treatment of your pulmonary tuberculosis is isoniazid. Again, your rifampicin and isoniazid are both bactericidal, so they kill the bacteria. So the major effect lang naman nito. So isoniazid is given with your rifampicin. Okay, please take note of the major toxic effect of your isoniazid, which is your hepatitis. Okay? And as well as your peripheral neuropathy. Yan pong dalawa ang side effects ng isoniazid. Ang rifampicin, yan po yung kulay red or orange na secretions, yung ihi. Kaya siya nagre-red because of rifampicin. Yun lang naman ang common na side effects ng rifampicin. Ang isoniazid, hepatitis and peripheral neuropathy. Though may naman na dito, may tawag dito, may antidote for your peripheral neuropathy, which is your pyridoxine. Okay? So third in line for the drugs of treatment in your pulmonary tuberculosis is pyrazinamide. The mode of action is still unknown. It is best used for what? Please take note, yan po ay binibigay the best for dormant and semi-dormant tuberculosis. So if your case is reactivation tuberculosis or latent tuberculosis, ang pyrazinamide ang isa sa mga ginagamit na drug of choice for that. Okay? So though the most important adverse reaction ay liver injury, kaya po tinitignan din ang creatinine for that. Okay? Creatinine, yung SGPT, your SGOT, okay, liver function test, tinitignan din po yan. Okay? So please take note again, pyrazinamide is best for the dormant and semi-dormant tuberculosis. And then fourth drug in line for the treatment of your pulmonary tuberculosis is ethambutol. This one naman is given if your patient has resistance to the first two. which are your rifampicin and isoniazid. Pag may resistance, sorry, pag may resistance sa rifampicin and isoniazid, sinasamahan po yun ng ethambutol. Okay? So, pag resistant, ethambutol ang binibigay. Okay? Though the major adverse effect nito ay ito, retrobulbar neuritis, yung blurred vision, central scotoma, red green color blindness. Okay, color blindness is one of the most common side effects of ethambutol. Okay, so please take note of that. And then the streptomycin, ang streptomycin hindi siya first line drug. Ito ay injectables kasi. Ang first line drug mo would be the following. Okay, yung apat na yan, rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol. Ang streptomycin, binibigay lang po yan kapag kailangan na talaga siya ng pasyente. Pag may mga resistance na siya on your drug. Okay? So the following second line of drugs that can be used are this, mostly antibiotics na po siya. Pero the first choices for your treatment of pulmonary tuberculosis, the first line of drugs are your rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol. Okay? So the second line drugs are the para-aminosalicylic acid or your PAS acid. You have the etonamine, the cycloserine, the capromycin, kanamycin, amikacin, fluoroquinolones, which is your DNA gyrase, and levofloxacin. So yan pong mga yan, those are your antibiotics. Second line drugs lang po ang antibiotics. Okay? Questions? Do you guys follows? Do you guys follows?
Yes.
Okay, so you have questions? Okay. So let's talk about the treatment regimen for the pulmonary tuberculosis. The standard is 6 months to 9 months. So yung 6 months na yun is divided into two phases. You have the first 2 months, and the continuing 4 months. So anong ginagawa sa 2 months? 'Di ba? 6 months siya. So yung unang 2 months, ang gagawin doon, eradicate all the bacteria. Those are your Your 2 months is your bactericidal phase. They will eradicate all the possible bacteria they can. So yun ang una mong gagawin sa 2 months. Kaya importante na dito pa lang masundan or they are diligent in taking the medications. Okay? Kasi dito pinapatay lahat ng possible patayin. Okay? That will be the initial intensive or the bactericidal phase in which majority of your bacilli are killed, symptoms resolve, and your patient becomes non-infectious. Non-infectious na siya kasi na-eradicate na yung mga bacteria. Nagre-resolve na yung symptoms. And the next 4 months, so di ba 2 months, nilinis na siya. In-eradicate na lahat ng bacteria. On the 4 months, ang gagawin po niyan, sterilizing phase. When you say sterilizing phase, lahat ng dormant and semi-dormant TB, doon siya nililinis. Plus, nililinis niya yung ginawang pag-eradicate on the first 2 months. So, nagets niyo yung point ng short course regimen? Nagets niyo po? Okay, so that is your first 6 months divided into 2 phases. The first 2 phases is the bactericidal phase, in which all bacteria are eradicated, symptoms resolve, and your patient becomes non-infectious because nagre-resolve na nga siya. And the remaining 4 months is also known as your sterilization phase, in which nililinis po or ini-eliminate ang mga semi-dormant Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay? So these are your treatment, your first line essential drugs, and your first line supplemental drugs. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, may function or may purpose kung bakit siya tinawag na RIPES. Yung unang dalawa, the first line essential drugs, and the remaining 3 are your first line supplemental drugs. So those are your characteristics. Again, rifampicin is considered bactericidal, best used for extracellular and intracellular parasites. Kaya po siya binibigay sa tuberculosis. as well as with your isoniazid. Now, in cases of the resistance in isoniazid, you can give the following. Okay, specifically your ethambutol. You also have your pyrazinamide. Your pyrazinamide is weak bactericidal, but your ethambutol can be both. Bacteriostatic means it inhibits the growth of the bacteria and also kills. Okay? So, importante yan. Okay? Do you have questions on pulmonary tuberculosis? Yung mga TB dots lang naman na yan, ang TB dots, ginawa iyang program para ma-ensure lang naman na daily yung pag-take ng gamot. Kasi di ba, tuberculosis, daily observed therapy ang ibig sabihin ng TB dots. Ang iniiwasan kasi sa TB dots, yung multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. What happens is that, for example, nagte-take ka ang pasyente mo, nag-take ng gamot for the first 4 months. Eh di ba, yung bactericidal phase, on the 6 months, yung unang 2 buwan doon, nagre-resolve na agad yung symptoms. So nawawalan na ng sintomas yung pasyente mo, hindi na siya nagko-complain ng sintomas, plus non-infectious na siya. So since ganito kasi ang ng Pilipino, pag nag-resolve yung ganitong sakit mo, wala ka nang nararamdaman, tigil na. So anong nangyayari? For example, your patient is already taking the medications for the 4 months, tapos nawala na siya ng sintomas, pakiramdam niya okay na siya, i-stop niya yung gamutan. There goes your multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. Ibig sabihin, di ba nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, matalino ang Mycobacterium tuberculosis. When they are exposed on these medications, yung mga nag-thrive, yung mga natira sa kanya, yung mga dormant PTB, gagawa sila ng antibody, parang gagawa sila ng memory na, ay, ito yung gamot na ginamit. So, magde-develop ako ng resistance against dun sa mga gamot na yan. Did you get my point of yung multi-drug resistant tuberculosis? Naintindihan niyo po yung kwento ko?
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Ganun ang multi-drug resistant. Kaya ginawa ang program na TB DOTS, yung daily observed therapy, para ma-ensure yung 6 months ay matatapos. So, ganun naman talaga ang thinking ng most of the Filipinos. Pag nakaramdam ng relief from their medication, kahit hindi pa tapos yung medication period, ini-stop na nila. Kaya ganun din kaya rin may mga multi-drug resistant antibiotic, ay may mga resistance to antibiotic nowadays. Kasi di ba supposedly your antibiotic should be taken for 7 days. So, on the first 3 days na wala na ng sintomas, nagkaroon ng relief ang pasyente, ini-stop na. So, nangyari, hindi na papatay lahat. Nakokontrol lang, pero hindi siya napapatay. That is the concept behind your multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. Okay? So, you have questions?
None po, sir.
Okay. I think I can give you your early lunch. Okay? We can have our early lunch. Kasi alam ko namang gutom na tayo.
Thank you, sir.
I know guys, you are hungry. As well as me. Gutom na din ako. So, we can have our early lunch. So, we'll be back after 1 hour. Okay? For the pleural diseases. Okay? And as well as with your pulmonary vascular diseases. So, I'll see you after lunch. So,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you, sir.